curiosity did in fact kill the cat. It's kind of like a really bad accident that you drive by that you can't like help but look at, and you can't like look away from it, you know what I mean? That's how it felt reading this. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Brittany and thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today we're going to be going over the 18 books that I read in the month of April. I'm going to start off this video by saying I did not do well on my April TBR, and the funniest part is it was like 4 books. I know. I just had so many other books and other video ideas planned that I was reading books around those videos that I didn't really get to my TBR that much. I think I read 2 books on my TBR. And one I'm actually in the middle of reading now. At the time of filming, it is the last day of April, so I know I'm not going to get it done, and that is Magnolia Parks, but you'll see my thoughts on that one in the next like wrap up for May. And then the other book on my TBR that I didn't get to is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which I know. I was so excited to actually read that one, and I didn't get around to it, you know what I mean? I went on vacation, and I didn't bring it as one of the books and everything, so I just never got around to it. I think I'm going to push it into May, and then if I don't read it in May, I'm just going to keep pushing it. Like, it's going to stay on my cart, and it's going to get read. I know, I suck, I'm sorry. It's just like by the time I remembered that I had to read it, there was 1 week left of April, and I was like in the middle of reading 4 or 5 books that I needed to prioritize getting done because I didn't want to end the month in the middle of a bunch of books, you know? So let's go ahead and jump into the books. The first book I did read as a ARC. I had the e-ARC, so I don't have a physical copy of the book, but by the time this video goes out, this book is already out. I believe it came out April 8th. And that is Boys with Sharp Teeth by Jenny Howell. And I rated this 3.75. This was a very unique book. It was very like paranormal, dark academia type vibes. And then it also had philosophy aspects to it as well, as far as questioning life and what happens after and everything. So I did enjoy those aspects of the book. It was very eerie with like this little hint of danger. And the writing of this book was very atmospheric and enjoyable as well. I only rated it 3.75 because at some points I just really didn't know what was going on, if we're being completely honest, and that might have been my fault. I could have been just like not fully invested in it or something, but there were certain parts where I was just kind of like, I'm not really following what's happening, and there were just kind of like some parts that I just was like, you know what I mean? The writing leaves a lot open for your own interpretation, and I'm still like newer to books kind of in that sense. I think that's kind of just, again, more of a me thing. If you really love books like that, you would love this book. This book follows Marin, who goes undercover as Jamie, and she ends up finding out that her cousin was killed at this elite boarding school, and she believes it's by one of the students there, so she goes undercover like as a student at the school. And not only does she go undercover at the school, she literally moves in with the people that she suspects are the killers. I'm like, girl, you're better than me, because I don't think I would do that. The boys are like super unhinged, and they end up developing like this fascination with her, and you're kind of just like following her unraveling this mystery. It's not really a romance in my opinion. It's more of just like an infatuation. It's very like dark romancy, and the guys are like, they're pretty unhinged. So it was really enjoyable. I did enjoy it. For some reason before I got it, I thought it was like something to do with like vampires or something, just by how it like looked and sounded, and it's not. I think they're like emotional vampires, if you want to like, you know, use that term, but they're not like vampires in like that sense. So I don't know why I thought that, but yeah. Like, long story short, that book felt like a fever dream, but like in the best possible way. Up next, I do have Throne of Glass. I'm finally starting my Throne of Glass reading journey, and I actually will be vlogging this entire process of like my thoughts and everything. It'll be spoiler free, but it'll probably take a while because as of right now, I'm planning on reading like 1 a month. Unless something happens that ends crazy, then I want to like start the next one immediately. But because I have so many books on my physical TBR that I'm trying to get through, I think I'm settling for like 1 a month right now. We'll see. Stay tuned for that, but it will be a while. Anyways, I did rate this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed this. I have a good amount of tabs. I don't know if you can see them because the color I chose is like a light blue. But I really enjoyed this, and it's really hard trying to figure out who I like. Like, do I like Kale or do I like Dorian? Like, I don't know who I like, but I definitely think I love Dorian, but I also love like Kale for his own reasons, so I don't know. If you haven't heard of Throne of Glass for some reason, this follows Selena, and she is an assassin. She ends up getting taken to the Glass Castle to compete in these tournaments to pretty much like fight for her freedom and to be the king's champion for the year, and then after that year's up, like she gets like her freedom or whatever. But other things happen. You kind of start to see like this romance forming, but you don't know with who. She ends up meeting another princess from another country, and like they befriend each other, and then she ends up meeting this other person. Like there's just a lot that happens in this book that I really can't say much without spoiling things. Pretty much this one follows her with like trials, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm excited to keep reading. Then I have The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. This is the third book in the Cruel Prince series, and I rated this 4.5 stars. I love Jude, I love Cardan, I love this series in general. This one follows obviously Jude after she is released from this bargain that she had with Cardan in the second book. She's back in the mortal realm and everything, and she ends up having to return to the land of like fairy, and there is a curse unleashed upon the land, and she's confronting her feelings with Cardan. And I just feel like this wrapped everything up so nicely, and I'm very excited to start the Stolen Heir duology as well, now that I'm kind of done with like the core story of Jude and Cardan. Like I can't wait to see Oak's like journey. It was just such like a bittersweet end to like a series that I love so much. Then I read Cruel King by Rena Kent, and I rated this 4 stars. All I'm gonna say is I 100% see where Landon King gets everything from. I see where he gets it from, because Levi, I see where he gets it from. Like Levi is his father, and they are one and the same. So Cruel King follows Levi and Astrid, and like how, you know, they come to be. It is the parents book for like Legacy of Gods. Like I'm finally starting the parents books. I've really liked it. I actually really like how everything kind of went down in this book, and I'm so excited to keep reading the like Royal Elite series. I just really like Rena's writing. I feel like it's easy to digest in like the best possible way, and there's such good pacing. Like there's never really a lull to me when I'm reading her books. 90% of the time I'm like always thinking about it, and I want to keep reading, and I have to force myself to like go to bed and stuff. So I love using her books, especially when I feel myself going in towards a slump. That's kind of when I try to pick up one of her books. So I don't like plan on reading her series all within like a week. I like to use hers as palette cleansers and stuff to like get me out of a slump, because to me I really like them, so they're the perfect thing to read when I don't want to read. And on that same note, I also did read Kiss the Villain by Rena Kent. This one is a controversial book, I feel like, because a lot of people hated this book. I did not hate it personally. I didn't love it. I'm not obsessed with it, but I didn't hate it. I rated this 3.75. I also have a whole reading vlog where I'm reading this in this book, so you can see more of like my actual raw reactions and first initial thoughts and everything. But without going into too much detail and completely repeating myself, I think I enjoyed this book. I don't really care for Caden. Like, he's just indifferent to me. Like, I don't hate him. I don't love him. He kind of just is there. I do actually like Gareth, and I know he's not the version that we were expecting from him. We were expecting a lot more. But, I mean, I don't hate him. Like, I feel like he was fine. He was unhinged, as all of her men are. And I think I just go into all of her books expecting that anyway. So I wasn't really disappointed or anything. And I think a lot of people were wanting this to be like Nico Bran. But I also feel like if she did that, people would have a problem with that and say that it was like copy and paste of that story. So I get why she took a completely different route with this one. But I don't know, I think I enjoyed it. And the last like 30%, a lot happened that really just had me like intrigued, and I just wanted to keep reading. I really liked it. I'm really excited for Vaughn's book. I've been waiting a very long time for his book. So I also loved getting all of like the snippets and cameos of a lot of the other characters that we know and love at this point. I love that this circled back to the initiation, because I think I mentioned this in that video that I did with this book, but I think the reason I didn't like God of War as much is because it was set so far in the future, and all the other books circle back to that initiation. So I was glad that we got that in this one. And this one was fun because it was kind of him seeing everybody with their like partner, their person. Like, everybody was hunting everybody down. Like, it was so funny to see from like his point of view. I enjoyed it. Like I said, 3.75. It's not anything I would like 100% rave about, be obsessed with. Like, out of all of them, this wouldn't be my favorite, but I still enjoyed it. The next book just kind of switched things up a little bit. I needed a little refresh. I read this book called Jurassic Island by Viktor Zarkov. I hope I said that right. This was a short book. It was 133 pages, and I devoured it. I thought it was so fun, and there's actually a second book in the series, so I'm really excited to read that one. But this pretty much follows. It is giving very Jurassic Park inspired, which I think is why I loved it. and I just love dinosaurs, so I just, you know, whatever. It was like a more gory version of Jurassic Park, okay? So there's this island that is rumored to be real, and it only appears every so often, and you really have to be like looking for it. So this guy ends up finding this island and puts together this research team of people, and they go to this island. On the way to this island, they first off get literally attacked by the megalodon, like, hello. And by the way, they have no idea what's on this island, just to clarify. Like, they don't know what's on this island. There's no research for this island. I think the last time it appeared, I can't remember like the actual date, but it was like sometime in the 1950, 1960 maybe, or something like that. I don't know. It didn't appear for a long time, okay? So there's no research really for this island. So anyways, they get attacked by the megalodon. So right there, that would be like a red flag, you would think. But they're like, you know what? We want to be the first team on this island to explore things. Like, it would make us millionaires. You know how these people are. They just want to be the first to get research out on this island. They proceed after things happen and people die, right? So they go to this island, they're starting to explore. Then of course I think it was like velociraptors or some sort of like dinosaur is like coming after them, eating them. They discover this cave that has this underground whole other world with like trees and everything underground, and the T-Rex is after them. Long story short, they go on this island, dinosaurs attack them, okay? And they have to try to get off the island. I didn't need to go into that much detail, but I just love dinosaurs, so. I think the second book is called, the second book is called Jurassic Sea. So I don't know if it's like following the same characters or not yet. I haven't really looked into it much, but I definitely want to read it for sure. And I don't know if I told you guys, but I rated that one 4 stars. Then I went on vacation and I was trying to find some fun like summery books to read because I was going to be on the beach in the sun, whatever. So I figured what better book to read on a beach on vacation than The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. I love this show so much and I never read the books, but this one has been sitting on my shelf for like 2 years and I was like, you know what? Let's read it. And oh my gosh, I thought this was so cute. I will say, I do think I like the show more only because they added a lot more plot and like depth to the show and made the characters more likable, whereas this was kind of literally just following the romance, I felt like, which is fine. I really liked it. I rated it 3.75. It felt very like cozy and nostalgic because of how much I love the show, so I definitely enjoyed this. And then I finished this one and I went ahead and read the second one as well. So It's Not Summer Without You, I believe is the name of it. I'll put it right here. And that one I rated 3.5. Belly was kind of a little annoying in that one, which, I mean, again, I always have to remember that, like, she's literally, like, 16 or 17, I'm pretty sure, in these books, if I remember correctly, so, like, fair. But just like me reading, I was kind of like, girl, Belly, get a grip, girly, like. Oh, and the thing I loved the most about both of those is I did the audiobook with them, and the actors of the show are the ones who are, like, narrating the audiobooks. So, like, the first one is just her, but then the second one is her and I forget his name, but the one who plays Jeremiah. And then apparently the third book is her and the actor for Conrad, Chris I think is his name, right? So I'm definitely gonna audiobook the third one too, because I feel like that just added that like extra oomph that I needed, and I think maybe that's why I felt very nostalgic about it, because it was like their voice. Then again, as like a little palette cleanser, I read Temptation by Ivy Smoke. This literally was just like recommended on my Kindle, and I was like, sure, why not? It's part of the Hunted series. I rated this 3.75. It was enjoyable, but there was just like a lot that I was kind of like, girl, because she got mad at him for lying about something, but the entire book she was lying to him about something, and I was like, let's not be a hypocrite personally, but fine, whatever. And then also around like 70%, there was this dream that she had that I was like, I think I like got a little scarred from it, because I was like, what in the actual heck is going on? So yeah, but this follows Penny. She's a student. It is a professor-student romance. We know I love those. That really is kind of like the entire synopsis, is just that he's a professor, she's a student. It's like your standard professor-student sneaking around and being together. There's little side like drama issues, but I feel like if I tell you that, it's gonna kind of spoil things, so definitely just give that one a chance if you like professor students. It was enjoyable. It was a good time. Then I started The Ever King by LJ Andrews, and all I've ever heard about this one was just like good things, so I was really excited for it, and it was giving those like pirate vibes that I was wanting, but I don't know, for some reason it didn't really hit for me, so I rated it 3 stars. Like, it was just fine. It wasn't anything like monumental to me. The female main character kind of annoyed me at a lot of parts. I also audiobooked that one, so maybe that has something to do with it. I'm a firm believer in the way that you consume the book can sometimes affect how you feel about it, if that makes sense. Like, some books I love solely because of the audiobook. Some books I didn't like, and part of me wonders if it's like the audiobook. That could be why. Like, it was just fine, and that's why I rated it 3 stars, because I didn't hate it. Like, I found it interesting, but I also didn't love it and didn't have the pull to keep reading it. So The Ever King is about this girl. I think she's the princess. I can't even remember her name. What even is her name? It doesn't even say it in the synopsis, so I really can't remember her name. I'm sorry. But she's like the princess or whatever, and then we have Eric, who is like a pirate, and he's coming back for vengeance, and he ends up taking their daughter, which is the princess, because they stole his crown a long time ago. I don't really know how to like explain it. There's like pirates, there's sirens, there's fae, and they're like all kind of colliding into one, and he like kidnaps her, and she's kind of just like, I don't remember much about this book, if we're being honest. Now that I'm like sitting here talking about it, I'm like, I don't actually remember what happened. Sometimes I just like forget. Like, if it's a book that wasn't absolutely amazing to me, like sometimes I just don't remember. I don't know. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on past that one. Then I read That One Night by Emily Rath. This is a prequel to Pucking Around. It's part of the Jacksonville Rays story. I read this one because I'm gonna be reading Pucking Around for a vlog this month, and my friend told me that it's better if you read the prequel. Like, it's not necessarily required. Like, you can start Pucking Around and still understand what's going on, but this kind of shows how her and one of the guys meet and a little bit of like that backstory. It kind of helps you going into Pucking Around. So I was like, sure, sign me up. It was like 80 pages. Why not? I rated that 3 stars because it was just a novella. Like, there obviously wasn't much depth to it, so I felt like I couldn't really rate it any more than 3 stars, but it was enjoyable. It was just, the whole thing was literally just their one-night stand, so I was like, what else can I really rate it? So this follows Rachel. She's in Seattle for her brother's wedding, and she ends up going down to the bar or whatever. She meets Jake. Her and Jake do the thing. She doesn't want to know anything about each other or whatever, so he wakes up the next morning and she left to go back on her flight home. He doesn't know her name, blah, 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 and then Pucking Around starts, and I believe she's like the sports therapist for like his team or something like that. I don't know that part yet. Obviously, I haven't read it yet, but that's kind of what That One Night is on about. Like, it's giving the prequel to all of that. Then on my trip, I also read Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. Definitely watch that vlog if you haven't watched it yet, because again, that way you could see my actual thoughts on all of these books. This was so freaking cute. Oh my gosh. I rated this 4.5 stars. I just thought that this was so adorable, like classic high school first love type thing. It just had me like giggling the whole time because I was like, oh my god, it's just so cute and like pure, you know what I mean? This follows Liz and Wes. They are neighbors, and she just could not stand him growing up because he was always just like a nuisance, like pranking her and putting severed heads of lawn gnomes in their little free library and stuff like that. So she was just kind of like, whatever, Wes, you know? And this guy that she has a crush on comes back in town. His name's Michael, and she kind of wants to scheme to go to prom with him. So her and Wes kind of team up. They make like a bargain to help get Michael's attention to get her to go to prom with him. But obviously along the way, she starts to realize that she's loving spending time with him, and is like, oh wait, you know, I think I kind of like Wes, and it's just so cute. Then I read Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. She just knows how to write tropes that I just don't really think I would care about and make them great, because I rated this 4.5 star, and like, I am not a celebrity romance type girl. Like, I don't know, I've just never really had the interest in that, but I was devouring this. This follows Skylar, and she's kind of coming to this town, Rose Hill, and she just wants to, you know, escape from reality and get away from everyone and kind of start over doing her own thing, record her own album and everything. And she ends up meeting Weston because she literally is trying to take a picture with a bear. Yes, that's literally how the book starts. A lot of people didn't like that. I thought it was hilarious. Is she dumb? Yes, that part was very stupid, but I thought it was hilarious. And he like saves her. She ends up staying with him because she doesn't have anywhere to stay and everything. He's got kids. His kids are so sweet, and they instantly like form this bond with Skylar, and it's just so cute. I just really loved this. I loved like seeing their relationship bloom. I loved seeing her bond with the kids. Like, I just thought it was really freaking cute. Okay, I just love Elsie Silver. Up next, I did read Blue Sisters by Coco Miller. It was alright. I rated this 3.75. It did have some good quotes, so I did do a little bit of annotations on it. It started off strong. Like, I was really intrigued, like the first maybe like 25%. And then slowly I was kind of like losing interest because it started to feel like the whole premise of this book is more of like these sisters coming together to deal with their grief and just issues in life and everything and reform that bond between each other. But most of it just felt very, I don't know, I want to say like cliche. I just don't think I really cared for the writing as much. So this book follows the Blue sisters. There's 4 of them and one of them dies. That's not like a spoiler, that's on the synopsis. And the 3 sisters, they attempt to reunite in New York to attempt the stop of the sale of their childhood home. And then obviously along the way, they're, you know, finding ways to deal with their grief and everything that they never confronted. But this book, most of it just kind of felt like I was reading about their addictions and stuff, which is fine because like I understand that that is a part of grief and everything, but it felt like it focused mostly on that and not necessarily any other aspect of it. And the chapters felt long and a lot of it kind of just dragged on. And it just, I don't know, it didn't really give like what I was wanting it to give. I did like some parts and then I disliked other parts, so that's why I figured that rating is just neutral and fair. Also, in the month of April, I did read Fearless. This is also going to be in a vlog. This was a 3.75. I know, I thought this was going to be amazing. I thought it was going to be at least a 4.5. It was good. I did enjoy it, but it just kind of felt like a repeat of book 1. It focused more on Kai and Peyton and their pining and just like conversations with them. I feel like most of this book was just them talking and hanging out. And I wanted to see more about like the actual kingdom. Like I feel like book 1 and 2 we got so much of just Kai and Peyton and their relationship and stuff. And like we didn't know much about the kingdom as much. And after things happened in book 2, I figured, okay, we're gonna see them rebuilding the kingdom, like figuring out how to like work together. We didn't really like still learn much or anything about that. Like it was literally just like them having like random conversations and stuff. And like they were cute. Like I love Kai and Peyton, don't get me wrong. So like I loved it for that. I just wish we got like a little more. I also felt like there was a lot of like wasted potential on certain characters that I'm not gonna go into detail with because, you know, I don't want to spoil anything. But I just think there was a lot of wasted potential and like plot points that we could have gotten that we didn't get. Okay, so this next one. So this is Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M. Nacosta. And yes, you heard that right. And it is exactly what you think it is, by the way. I'm sure you're looking at the cover and you're like, oh, it's probably, nope, it's exactly what you think it is. I blame my friends for this one. There's just a lot to unpack here, honestly. Curiosity did in fact kill the cat on this one. Like, it was certainly a book. It's kind of like a really bad accident that you drive by that you can't like help but look at and you can't like look away from it, you know what I mean? That's how it felt reading this. So I actually did rate this 2 stars. So it's not a 1 star, it was a 2 star. This follows Violet and she needs a job. So she sees a job hiring for this milking farm. She gets hired. They have great pay and everything, you know, great benefits, and it's like minotaurs and stuff, and it's not milking and udder. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna leave it at that. If you're curious, go ahead and do your own research on that one. Then moving on, I do have Lilac by B.B. Reed. This was a 3.75. Again, I am not like a celebrity rock star romance girly, so I don't know why I went for this one, but I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I know I started this one because it was free on Audible and it had Teddy Hamilton as one of the narrators, so I was like, okay, that's all I need to know. So I literally, like, that was the whole reason I started it. It's funny, I couldn't read a book on my TBR, but yet I'm picking this random book that I have no idea about only because of the narrator, so that about sums up my life. I did enjoy this. I felt like it could have been like 200 pages less. Like it kind of was excessively long and it didn't need to be. Like, I feel like there was a lot more filler. And I guess it went through over my head for the longest time, the whole like cherry thing. She just kept saying like that she was getting tastes of different things in her mouth. And I'm like, girl, okay, you like cherries, like we get it. But I guess it's because she has like a like neurological thing where, I forget what the name of it, but it's like you associate things with like scents or like flavors. But yeah, it follows this girl Braxton and she ends up joining this band with these 3 other guys, and they kind of just like don't like her at first and they're kind of just overly rude to her, but it's a wide choose. They all have different personalities, of course. One of them is super, super rude and dark and mysterious. And we have like this one who's kind of golden retriever, but he listens to this guy. Like, you know what I mean? It's a white shoes, different personalities, and rock star. They're in a band. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. Probably one of the spiciest books I have read. Like, the spice was spicing in that book. I was like, whoa. I actually needed to like take a little pause. I was like, oh my gosh. Some of them was crazy. And the last book that I did read in April was Clytemnestra by Constanza Casati. And this was a 4.5. This was so enjoyable. I really, really like her. I didn't honestly know much about her before going into this book. I just kind of knew that she was married to Agamemnon, and that was all I knew. She is like a perfect example of like feminine rage, like revenge, and she did what she had to do. She bided her time and she took care of business. I think this was written really well, and I loved how it was very easy to follow, because a lot of times when you do like a literary fiction or like a Greek retelling or anything like that, sometimes it's harder to follow because you're like, oh my god, I don't know what's going on. I found this easy to follow. I don't know if it's because I've already read Song of Achilles and Circe and other side stories that happen along this same timeline. So like I'm able to see like the full picture, and like all of these other characters, I didn't know who they are. That could be why. The pacing felt great. I wanted to keep reading. I actually wanted this to be a little longer. Like I want to know more about her. Like I like her a lot. This obviously follows Clytemnestra. She's married to Agamemnon, and he's not a good person, by the way. I don't know. I can't stand him. I could not stand him even before this book. You kind of see her growing up before she meets him, and then it kind of links into the timeline of Song of Achilles. So if you read that, the part where he's going to marry the girl and she ends up getting sacrificed, it blends into that timeline and everything that happens after that, of her like getting revenge on not just sacrificing her, but other things he's done to her in the past. I really enjoyed this one. If you like Greek retellings and everything, I highly recommend this one. I think it was fantastic, and I definitely want to read more books by this author for sure. That is my wrap up for the month of April. I think I had a decent month. A lot of them were mostly just like average to me, but I feel like I still read good books. Also, just a little side note in case anyone is wondering, this is a Comfrt hoodie. It is literally a super oversized, weighted, very cozy hoodie. It like is a hoodie that hoodies. But I do also now have an affiliate link, so you can get 50% off on top of their giant sale that they're having right now. But all of their stuff is on sale, and then you get 50% off on top of it. So I'm just trying to self-plug here. I paid for this myself. Like, I'm not sponsored in that way. I just have an affiliate link. So, like, don't get mad at me, but definitely check it out because I swear this is so comfy. I literally ordered like 4 sets. So, and if you do like the pre-order option, you get them even cheaper. So that's what I did. So some of them aren't coming till July, but I saved like $40 additional. So like, why wouldn't I do that, you know? But yeah, just a little shameless self-plug moment there. I'm not gonna make a TBR for May. Well, okay, that's a lie because I technically do have a TBR for May, but I'm not gonna go over it in like a super detail or anything because it's more of just like books that I want to read for specific videos. So like I'm reading Pucking Around. I know I want to read Crown of Midnight for sure. I want to read, I think, Sunrise on the Reaping maybe. Enchantra I am reading for my book club. If you have a Fable account, definitely join our free book club. That way you can kind of be in on the conversation about it. I don't know, I have like just a lot of options here, but nothing is set in stone. So I don't have like a set TBR. So that's why I'm not like doing a whole video on it in case anyone was wondering. But anyways, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button. That way you don't miss out on any of my reading vlogs, my wrap-ups, or any other fun videos that I do. I have an unboxing coming up soon. I have a fun video where I'm reading really popular books, so definitely stay tuned. I got some good stuff coming up, and I will see you guys next week. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!